Hi everybody, I'm DJ Sixsmith. You're watching Sit Down. Ryan, Michelle, Bathe.
Yes.
Love it. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you
How's
too.
everything going?
Everything is going great.
You got something pretty cool coming up.
Yeah, look at me. I'm gonna start learning how to take pictures without opening my mouth. I think everywhere I go.
Is that your go-to smile?
Oh my God, when I was at school, I looked at pictures of me from high school and college and I'm like, am I trying to catch flies? So yeah, one day I'll learn how to be a proper lady, like these two proper ladies.
I think it's just hard to naturally smile when you know you're gonna get a bunch of pictures taken of you like this.
Probably, well, and I was just so happy. Look, I was standing next to Jill Scott.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be like?
You gotta be pretty hyped.
I was so hyped.
I mean, First Wives Club coming back in this form too.
I know.
Gotta be super hyped about
nice
that.
Nice font too.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes. This Paramount Network is. I'm not going to go there.
It's all good.
No, but it was truly working with those two was a dream come true. We had so much fun, and it was First Wives Club, which was such an iconic movie and such an important movie that I just think it's, I told someone earlier today that it feels like passing the baton. It doesn't feel like a reboot. It feels like this is a story that should have gotten even more time to tell. So now that we've got this streaming service and we've got, time, we're going to make it into a series and delve even further into these stories with these amazing women. Our amazing characters have to share with the world.
Well, I love the climate that we're in too, because you can take something from the '90s and make it its own thing, right? So people are coming in for it because they know First Wives Club, but now it's totally transformed. So what was it like for you guys, kind of unpacking that and playing around with that?
Well, that was really very much on the writer's side, and like I said, I think that they just were it was a much more hat tip homage. They knew what the basic structure was: 3 women, husbands, conflict, go, right? And I think they just took it from there. I think that, the movie it's so much a part of anybody's DNA who's ever seen the movie, who's a woman, whatever your story is. If you've seen the movie, it becomes a part of your DNA. So I think it was easy for them to just riff off of that, and then all we had to do was step in and bring these very specific characters to life, and they were such specific characters that it made it, pretty much a long walk in the park.
Were there challenges with it being so specific, or did you like the fact that it was honed down that specifically?
I liked the fact that it was. To me, the more specific, the better. I had an acting teacher, Ken Washington, may he rest in power, who would always talk about be specific. And he was from New Orleans, and he was be specific. But that he really impressed that upon all of his students, and me in particular. But it's really true. The more specific you could be, the more universal the story is. When things are general, no one can find themselves in it. It's a mess. It's a mishigash,
Yeah.
But if you really can get specific, then that's where the gold is.
Was Ken Williams from NYU, or where did you cross paths with him?
2 places, actually. Ken Washington. As a matter of fact, Santino Fontana is in Tootsie.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was Santino was one of his. That's how I met Santino, actually. Ken Washington was he worked at the Guthrie, and he was responsible for their BFA program. So they now have a BFA program with the University of Minneapolis, University of is it Minneapolis?
That's one of those schools?
Yeah, one of those. Okay. Yes. Anyway,
University of Minnesota.
I think it's the University of Minnesota at Minneapolis.
I gotcha.
I'm just trying to get it right, because
Sure.
And so they now have a BFA program with the Guthrie, and the Guthrie would do this summer program called the Guthrie Experience, and you would go if you were in grad school. They would audition you, and then you would go and spend the summer just sort of getting to know a regional theater to try to encourage students not to just go off and do film and television.
Here I am.
Here I am. But I did go back and work at the Guthrie, so if
so
y'all want to have me back, I'll go back. Yes. But anyway, it worked. I mean, I really do feel like I have a kinship and an affinity for the Guthrie, and Ken Washington was amazing, and that's how our paths crossed. And then he did direct us at NYU.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how long were you at NYU for?
I was there for 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a 3-year program.
What were some of the lessons you learned along the way?
Well, I will stay on the positive side of things.
Oh, so we had some negative experience.
Well, listen. One of our teachers said that going to grad school is like being in in a sanitarium.
Really?
He was
Wow.
like, this is just basically an insane asylum that people pay for. He said that, and
Wow.
not me. It was, you know, we at NYU, it's different at other schools, but NYU is a very small, we don't have a lot of space, quite literally. So there's 3 classes, each one has 16 people in the class, and the teachers all in a very, very, very small space. So it becomes a pressure cooker, because what you're doing in grad school is you're just reliving all of your trauma in a supposedly safe space. And you know, but that's where you mine your whole life experience, so that you can put yourself together as this artist that knows how now to access all of those things. And really, I learned that it's an enormous privilege to be able to go to grad school. Like, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to spend 3 years becoming an artist, to delve even further into what it is that makes you an artist and ask those questions. And it is a privilege that I will always be grateful for.